And we're back. Just like that, everybody. Nobody's listening here on the Outpost Unknown YouTube channel. My name is Matthew. Joining me today is Rachel.
Hey, everybody.
Now, we're going to talk a couple episodes, or we're backlogged on Bad Batch. So we're
Mhm.
trying to do multiple episodes of Bad Batch and try to catch up. I think the finale is at the end of this month. So we should be able to
We'll get
get
there.
caught up
We'll get
before
there.
then.
Yeah.
But tonight we're going to talk about, we came off of episodes 7 and 8, which were incredible. Those were
Yeah.
incredible episodes
Whew.
of just, not just Bad Batch, but just Star Wars storytelling. It was just that good.
Mhm.
And, okay, where are you going to go from here? So now we're going to go into the crossing and retrieval, episodes 9 and 10. Rachel, were you kind of dreading going into this after like the weight that was in those, season or episode 7 and 8? How are you feeling going into these?
Honestly, excited because those last two episodes were so thrilling, and I wanted to see the aftermath of what had come about after Palpatine pulled the like switcho changeo, and essentially was like, let's hit forward on this genocide real quick. And then Echo left. I mean, a lot of heavy stuff happened in those last two episodes, and so I was excited to see, where this leaves everyone. I want to see the impact of it. And I
Okay.
sorted it.
All right. Well, let's get into this first episode here.
Yeah. Okay. So we pick up with the gang, and they're on this seemingly deserted planet. I don't know that I ever got the name of it. I don't know if you did, but um,
No, I don't remember.
I don't think Planet Ipsum. I don't know. So they've been sent here because Sid has purchased an Ipsum Ispum mine, something like that.
Something, yeah.
Yes, and it is this ore that is incredibly unstable, so you have
It's
to be
basically
very.
another version of treasure.
It is, oh Lord. Yes, it's like the unobtainium treasure. So they have to go and extract some ore, and Omega is like having some preteen feelings. She's dealing with the emotional aftermath of Echo leaving and the whole Palpatine situation. And everyone else around her, though, is kind of like moving forward like nothing has changed, particularly Tech, who is, even though previously my favorite, is kind of a dick in this episode.
Yeah. He's got an attitude.
Yeah.
He does not have good bedside manner. Let's say that.
No. No, 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 no. So originally they leave her out with Wrecker, and they kind of have this moment where she's talking about how upset she is about Echo leaving, and he's just kind of like, yeah, it kind of sucks, but this is kind of how it goes.
Quit
You know,
whining, girl.
yeah, a little bit. But they need her little baby arms to go in there so that they can get this ore. And that leaves the Marauder unguarded, and some like feather guy shows up and steals the Marauder.
Apparently, they did not lock the door.
Yeah, I was like, really? Y'all don't have like this, space club you could put on the steering wheel?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
That was way too easy to steal that ship.
Yeah.
So okay, so anyway, they go in, they extract some ore, they realize that their ship is gone, and they're like, well, shit, we can't get it back. We don't have any way to track it because they've turned off the tracking device. We're just gonna have to hike to the closest spaceport. So as they're doing that, like, we get a full Mufasa scene. They get chased by a herd of space antelope, and also a space maboob shows up and starts like but thunder and lightning at them. They survive by hiding in a cave, but this time Tech drops this unstable ore, and it blows up the entrance to the cave, and they are trapped. And so they are trapped in there with lots of rubble, but most of all with their feelings. Well,
Yes.
Omega's feelings.
Yeah.
So she's very upset, understandably so. The thing is she's experiencing loss really for the first time. This is the first
Yeah.
time that she's had a family, and like Echo leaving has a huge impact on her, unlike her brothers who've lost people in war, who, he wasn't necessarily an original member of the Bad Batch. Their training, all these reasons why they take it more in stride. And
Well,
Omega is
the
also a preteen and not dealing well.
Well, there's a one big reason is
Mhm.
because the Marauder got stolen, and
Yeah.
she's like, "How are we gonna get it back?" And Tech's
Yeah.
like, "We'll just get another ship. Who cares?" And she's like, "That's our home, right? Like,
Yeah.
you don't care. I mean, because they do. I think it was season one, maybe.
Mhm.
It must have been season one where they make that little spot in the Marauder, sort of like her
Yeah. Her
room,
little
right?
room.
And that's like the
Yeah.
first time she's ever had anything like that. They're like, "That's your spot in our kind of our house, our ship,"
Right.
and they do not care about this this
Right.
lost ship at all.
No.
And she, rightfully so, I
Yeah.
think, is pretty pissed off by it. It's like, wow, I thought we were family here, guys. Nope, apparently not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do really feel for her actually. I mean, because it's clearly like the last straw. There's just been this series of massive losses um that she's taken in
And
stride.
then
Like her entire planet being blown up.
they tell her to go away while they go do this, try to mine some of this stuff, and then they're like, "Actually, you got to come back and do it for us because you're small and we're too big."
Yes.
And then she's just got this look. The animation is so great. Like the look
Yeah.
on her face is she was. I mean, she just wants to blow that whole fucking place up.
I know. I know. I like her little like protest drilling that where she's so she goes down, she finds more of the ore essentially. So she starts mining it out and then like the other guys are like, "Tech, come bruh, come
Well,
on."
I love it when she's talking to Tech, and he's just like, "What's your issue?" I'm just like, "What's your malfunction, girl? Just get over it." And she's just like, "I don't want to be around anybody right now."
Yes. I mean, and again, relatable content. I totally remember being a teenager
Yeah.
and having that energy.
And
But
Tech's
they
being an asshole to Wrecker too. Like this whole
yeah.
episode, he's being an asshole to him. And I felt bad for Wrecker because uh, when the stampede's happening, right?
Yeah,
Tech's like, you gotta go down there and jump on that, and try to
protect
protect
it.
it. Otherwise, we're
Yeah.
all gonna die. And he's like, why don't you do it?
Well, he's like, "What about protecting me?" And he's like,
Yeah,
"Go." I
go.
mean, I do feel like we get an explanation for that because, like, he's not good at expressing his emotions, and I think it's coming out in these other ways that
Yeah,
are not productive. Which is one of the things I think is interesting about this episode is are these character beats that we're gonna get into. So she's off pout drilling, and he comes and tries to talk to her.
pout drilling. That's the
Um,
name of our new band,
you
pout
like
drilling.
it?
Yeah,
Nice. So yeah, so she's drilling and he's like, Let's use this. We can get use this to get out of here, whatever." But she ends up slipping and falling down into water. And as
of
much as
course.
of course, as much as he's been a total asshat, without hesitation, without knowing what's down there, to potentially to his death,
Yep.
he leaps after her. And I think that moment is where you really, as much as Tech is a dick, as much as he is not emotive in terms of his feelings, like that instant reflexive dive after her tells you everything about the way he feels about her. Luckily, there's water below. They go through some rapids and end up, in another part of the cave. And
A
where
lot of cave water
a lot of cave water.
in Star Wars lately.
You know what? You're right. This is the week of cave water for us.
Yeah.
So they're sort of stranded waiting for the rest of the group to come join them and they have a heart to heart where Tech essentially reveals like just cuz I don't show how I'm feeling doesn't mean I'm not feeling it. And this is these moments where like we joked last time about like genocide in the children's show, but like at the end of the day there is these moments where you can tell that like this is actually for people of all ages including children and that they're bringing in this what is even though this is not what he says he is like he's coded as someone who is a neuroatypical, right? He's neurodivergent and he's essentially somewhere on the autism spectrum in terms of like
Yeah,
his
that's what I was
ability.
gonna mention.
Yeah, which I think is actually kind of great, like everything is a new experience for Omega. And so she gets to kind of through the show, we get to see these conversations happening because she has no experience with someone who's neuroatypical or understanding what that means. And so he can kind of illuminate that. And I thought that was actually a pretty great scene in the episode.
Yeah, honestly, this is all. the only great stuff about this episode really
Yeah.
is this sort of
Yeah.
interaction and dynamic between them. And I think honestly that's what this episode was for.
Yeah.
It's just like how do we get them together and just have that whole sort of dynamic play out. And that
Yeah.
worked really, really well. The episode around it, ah, gonna
Yeah.
get some more ore.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
here we go.
yep, yeah, yep, yep. So eventually the gang does successfully get back together. They blast their way out of the mine and they find the spaceport where they call Sid and they're like, "Girl, pick us up, send the Uber." And she's like, "Nah."
No, 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 no.
She eventually agrees to send help, but
In a few
yeah,
days.
yeah, she's not in any rush. Presumably, like, who else is working for Sid? Is she so backlogged she can't help them out? I
Well,
mean,
remember, I forgot the name of the guy. Was it Ernie Hudson's
yes.
character? Was he one where he was like,
Mhm.
"Look, man, she's gonna turn on you guys.
Yep.
It's only a matter of time. I mean, she's only using you guys for what she needs, and then when she doesn't need you anymore, you're gonna be toast."
Yep.
So I think we're
Yep.
starting to see a little bit more of that. Where in Tech for his part, he's not trusted her for a while,
Right.
and I think it sort of comes out a little bit, a little anger here towards her when she
Yeah.
won't come help them after all the crap that they've done for her. So
Mhm.
yeah, but they got to figure it out, right? Because they don't have enough rations. They're in the middle of nowhere. They're in a ghost town, the mining town that obviously all the Ipsum or whatever ran out, and everybody lost their jobs, and now it's like a calico ghost town sort of thing.
Yeah.
And now they gotta use their wits to escape.
Yeah.
Can they do it?
Nah, I think they die, and this is the end of the show.
Spoiler: Crosshair shows up and takes them all out.
I mean,
The end.
honestly, that would be a huge twist, and I would not put it past this show. It is so brutal.
I'm watching this episode, mediocre episode aside from
Yeah.
the stuff with Tech and Omega.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting here watching this. I'm like, when am I gonna get Crosshair back? Like,
Yeah.
when is Crosshair coming back? And I'm like, okay, well, surely maybe in the next episode, maybe we're gonna see some Crosshair there.
No, no,
Nope,
no,
nope,
Matthew. This
nope.
is such a rich text that it needs 2 episodes to tell its
Yes,
tale.
yes. Now we're gonna get into well, the internet would say this next one's real woke. This is a real woke episode, Retrieval.
It is? Okay, alright. You'll have to explain to me how this is woke. I mean, I guess it's pro-union? I
This
don't
is
know, is that woke?
this is evil capitalism at its finest being shown to our children, Rachel,
Right,
indoctrinating them that capitalism is bad. This is
right,
what this
right.
episode's all about.
Yes,
This
the
is
true
Temple of
enlightened
Doom. This
people
is Temple of
welcome the
Doom.
boot on the back of their neck. Yeah, got it. Okay, cool, got it. I guess I'm woke because I don't want the boot on the back of my neck.
You
Whatever.
are
I mean, let's be honest. Anyway, so episode I scrolled too far.
10, I think.
Yes, episode 10
Retrieval.
retrieval. Yes. So they have made it to the station that they had seen sort of in the distance at the last episode. And they're sitting around talking about rations and she manages to I don't know why Tech wasn't on the job. Or I guess he was working on a speeder. That's why.
Yeah.
She manages to make contact with their gonk that like hangs out on their ship. And using that, they're able to track the location of the marauder. This is where we cut to our Birdman thief who turns out to be a kid with a cool hat. And his name is
Benny.
Benny.
Benny's the name. I got 5 kids to feed.
Oh god, Benny. Benny, is it terrible that I like hate him on sight? Like I
E
hate his little punchable face.
ever since Total Recall, you never trust anybody
Never
named
trust him.
Benny. Never,
That's true.
never.
That is true. So it turns out that he stole the ship to take back to the leader of their it's probably one of the last functioning mines on this place. That is led by this guy Maki, in hopes of being seen as Maki's best earner. Like there's I don't know. Anyway, so Maki's just kind of like, nice try, kid. Yeah, we'll see how this looks like. It's gonna be a lot of work, though. I gotta take it apart, part by part. We'll see. We'll see if you get food this week. And he's like this is some like Dom sub shit. He's like, yes, daddy. So, eventually, eventually, the Bad Batch successfully find this mine, and wouldn't you know it, they also run into Benny, and they take him essentially prisoner because they're the good guys, and force him to help them find their ship. In the process, they have some important woke conversations. We learn about the conditions of the mine, which are legitimately not okay. And if this is happening, opposing it is totally acceptable. I know this, I'm gonna blow some minds out there, but yeah, this
Mm-mm.
is actually not okay. You should get work, like, a living wage for the work that you do. Instead,
That's not in the Constitution, Rachel.
um,
There's no language in there that says you have to have great work conditions.
well,
Sorry.
okay, we're just the Constitution. Okay, cool, great, awesome. We're just gonna limit it to the
That's the
Constitution.
ultimate law of the land, Rachel.
I can think of a lot of laws that you enforce on the daily that are not in the Constitution, my friend.
We're not talking about that though, are we?
No, we're not. We are recording. Anyway, so we find out about what's going on here. This guy Maki, he's had to lower. He has magnanimously lowered all of everybody's wages because the ore has been degraded and it's the only way to keep the mine open. Cut to him stuffing his reptilian face. Like, just sausages, like an embarrassment of sausage riches.
is he is eating and slurping down that stuff so quickly.
I wanted to die.
I was like, he just tells that robot, that droid, he's like, they can wait on me. I'm
Yep.
just gonna keep
Blah,
stuffing
blah, blah,
myself.
blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. And I'm wearing headphones watching this episode. I'm just like, kill
Oh
him
yeah, I
now.
forgot. Yeah, yeah. You don't like that. That's not
I
your
do
thing,
not.
huh? The slurping and the
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I would like, yeah. No, no, no. If you want to illustrate a character's villainy, make food noises. And I'm like, I'm out.
Okay.
Mother Teresa's the devil. Whatever.
Okay.
Chew with your mouth closed. That's all I'm asking. So, anyways, it's clear that he is a total exploiter. We see the dynamic. It's true. So, okay.
He's a
So,
capitalist trying to
yeah,
make a living.
he
Rachel,
is
come on now.
I mean, whatever the equivalent of a slumlord is. He's like I don't know, a sausage baron. I don't know. He's a bad guy. Um, the Bad Batch finds the ship, but it is in pieces, so they need to take some time. This is this is like the protect your character well for a few minutes kind of like gameplay activity. But anyways, we're stretching out and creating tension by having them have to replace the warp core and a bunch of other stuff on the ship.
Poor
um
Wrecker.
I know.
Still getting shit. He's trying to put it
Yeah,
together. Tech's still like, "Was this ever gonna get done?" He's like, "I'm working on it. Jeez, get
I'm
off
just
my dick."
like Wrecker. He needs to I need a moment where he loses it and just gives Tech a full dope slap up the back of the head. Reset that pecking order real quick.
What's weird is like Hunter just doesn't do much of anything in either of
Well,
these episodes, or
look,
at all in the show, really.
I
But I
mean,
mean,
he's the jester of this gang. Sorry,
oh,
Matthew.
oh, that hurts. Why would you hurt my feelings like that? I thought we were
Oh.
friends. Jeez, compare Jester to Hunter. That's awful.
I'm just
It's
kidding.
the worst thing you've ever said to me.
But yeah, Hunter is freaking useless. I mean, I guess he's not because occasionally his little spidey senses he'll be like, "Cool," and then he'll like see someone coming. But
He'll go, "Oh," and it's too late
yeah,
because the ship's already been stolen.
yeah, exactly. Way to go, Hunter. Um, yeah. So they're working on that. Omega is infiltrating with Benny, and we see some of the dynamic of how this works. And this guy he is like a Dickensian villain. He's just like playing these starving children off one another to
It's so
maintain his
weird.
power. It's real weird, right?
Yeah,
Again,
it is. It's
children's
weird.
cartoon.
Again, like, oh yeah, you're right. Like a lot of the topics that they touch on in this are just kind of like, I just imagine what my mind would have thought of. I'm like a 7-year-old kid, and I'm watching these kids beg and plead for like a small bowl of gruel
Yeah,
to eat, and this guy's like, "No, you got to work.
yeah.
Keep working. Keep working."
This is how you raise a new generation of union organizers. I support it. Way to
Yeah.
go, Star
Well,
Wars.
Andor sort of did this with
Yeah.
adults,
Yeah.
right? Well, hey, you do well, you get some flavor in your food, and this is like you do well, you
Mhm.
get a small bowl of food. If you don't,
Share, and when they all just, like, run at the bowl, oh, it's so it is bleak. This if you re like, take away the animation, this scene is so bleak
yeah,
that he has, like, his army of children laborers that he feeds a shared bowl of soup after they fight out for daddy's affection. It is so bleak.
it's weird.
It's
It's real
really weird.
strange.
It's very, very weird. So eventually this all kind of comes to a head. Benny is and Omega head up to this tower to take down the shield ray, and they have these interesting sort of exchanges where you realize like Benny has had a rough life. He sees the loyalty that is shared by the Bad Batch, and it's like he's never seen loyalty before. It's a whole new concept to him. And so she gives him some rations, and yet he's
Have my
still
candy bar.
yeah, which I mean, to be fair, if somebody wants to share a candy bar with me, I'm not gonna like them less.
Yeah,
um, but he still betrays her,
of
and
course. Of
we
course he
have a
does.
face off between everybody. He has her dangled over a lava pit. Um, but ultimately,
You get a
oh,
great hunter save.
yes, actually, that part Hunter did something. That was
Yeah.
actually pretty cool. The other thing I forgot to mention was in the process of getting this information, trying to take down the shields, she discovers that surprise, surprise, Maki is not such a great guy. The ore has not been degraded. He's just been like taking all the profits and like using his child
Whoa,
labor.
whoa, 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 whoa. You're telling me
I know.
that the capitalist guy
Yeah.
got greedy
Mm,
and is taking more at the
yeah.
expense of his labor? No.
Yeah. And by the
Look at
transfer
this
of property,
propaganda. This propaganda that Dave
America is a
Filoni is
lie.
putting out to our kids.
I know, Comrade, Filoni over there.
Comrade Filoni.
So there is eventually the miners rise up and want to take control of the means of
The
production.
miners, like literally, yeah, because they're
Yes.
mining and they're miners.
Oh my
I
god,
like it.
so right. Ooh, see, level. This is what writing is about, my friend.
Yes.
So they take him down. We see him plummet to his death, and then in the end,
Another
they
person plummeting to their death in this show,
yeah,
screaming on their way down.
yeah, the number one killer in the galaxy is definitely gravity. um, but yeah, in the end, we see that they have decided to. Benny decides to stay on his shitty little planet, and but now he is going to get his fair share, communism style, of the
Mhm.
mine's profits. Which I mean, I feel like the episode is telling you some things about like
Yeah,
what is legal versus what is morally correct. I'm just saying it. I
the
mean,
no, the
I'm
the
asking questions.
the episode is telling you Benny's gonna be back, and it's gonna piss me off. Because
Right?
because Benny says, "Hey, if you ever need a thief, you know who to call."
Oh my god, you're
Benny's coming
so
back.
right.
I hate this character. At least so far, I
Right?
hate this character. He's so annoying.
Yes.
I don't like the voice. I don't like the acting that goes along with him. I
No.
don't like his
Punchable
dynamic.
face.
Yeah, I don't like his punchable face. I don't like the dynamic he even has with Omega. I understand what they're going for. I just don't like it. This is one of the first characters that has been introduced in a Dave Filoni show. I just really am like, oh, I don't like this character. Even
Right.
though there's characters that I obviously I don't like or I don't care for, but this is one I'm like, no, 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 no. You introduce this kid stealing the Marauder. Um, it's just weird. Don't like it. And he's coming back. He's coming
Yeah.
back.
I mean, there's like he's kind of like Clearance Rack Ezra a little bit. Like he kind of
Yeah,
sounds like him. He's introduced by stealing a ship, like there's when we first met Ezra, he was like stealing from right in Rebels, wasn't
yeah,
he stealing from them? Like there
yeah.
is
He's like Aladdin,
it
basically.
yeah, totally. One step ahead of the stormtroopers. Um but I feel like not that I don't think that Dave Filoni is out of ideas and dipping back to the well just to be repetitive. I feel like he's intentionally like echoing things. And in Ezra Bridger was pretty annoying at first. So I'm
Yep.
wondering if he's going to give us like another arc with this character. I personally would be fine if we just never saw him again. Like he
Yeah.
fell into the
People thought
volcano.
Ahsoka was annoying when she was first introduced.
She was. I'm the number one Ahsoka fan. She was annoying when she was
Yeah.
first introduced. Like that
So
whole. Ugh,
Dave
that
Filoni
movie.
has earned the benefit of the doubt,
Fair.
but this initial
Mhm.
appearance by this character left much to be desired. But
Yeah.
again, maybe we're just spoiled because we're like, hey, uh, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt for now. Maybe Benny will
Yeah.
redeem himself later on down the road. Hopefully, he doesn't become a love interest for Omega or something like that. I
No.
don't want to see like
No.
teenage Benny
No.
and Omega
No. No.
going across the
No.
galaxy searching for treasure.
Oh god. I'm obsessed with your like alternative version of this where it wasn't Fee and it was Dr. Afra. I've thought about that like 5 times since
Wouldn't
last
it be
week.
amazing?
It would
I mean,
have
that's a
been amazing.
missed opportunity by Dave Filoni right there.
Come
If I ever meet him, I'll
on.
tell him. I was like,
Comrade
Dave,
Filoni, let us help you.
yeah, spread the wealth. There's plenty of characters out there. Spread the wealth a little bit, Dave. Yeah, these 2 episodes,
Yeah.
ah, yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I would have seen them without seeing the previous 2, how I would have felt about them. Maybe there's a little bit I'm just kind of let down by these after I saw how great the previous 2 were, but it
Yeah.
certainly didn't do these 2 episodes any favor for coming
No.
after
No, no, no,
episodes
no.
7 and 8. So, and
I
it feels a little directionless so far. Like I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
7 and 8 felt like the culmination of something, and I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, we're starting the next half of the season here, and like, where is this going? I
Yeah.
don't really know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little concerned that all of the best episodes of this season were either Bad Batch free or Bad Batch light. That's
Yeah,
concerning to me because I mean, if you think about it, the ones that we loved the most was the one that was about. I always want to say Deadshot. That's not right.
Crosshair.
Crosshair, and then the the two that the one of which had them not at all, and the other one they were kind of secondary players. And now I love those characters, and I don't want it to go away, but wonder if they need to figure out a way to make them the A plot that is not just a fetch quest.
They got to get them into the rebellion. Like they
Yes,
got to start doing
yes,
rebellion-y stuff.
I think you're right.
And I think that's where Echo will come back into play because
Mm,
Echo's off
mhm.
with like Rex. They're
Yeah,
having adventures. I want to watch that show. Like
yeah,
where I want to see episodes of like give me just a Rex and Echo show. What
yeah,
are they doing out there? Like I don't care about this crap. I don't care
right.
about Benny and this, all of this stuff. And I feel like right now it's just again the main criticism of the show that it's like the same thing every episode. It's
Yeah,
like, okay, we got to go to this planet to get this first id. We got to and we run into monsters, and ultimately we get what we need, and then we go back to say we get another mission, rinse, repeat over and over and over,
yeah,
and it's getting a little tiresome. I'm not gonna
yeah.
lie. I don't hate the show by any
No,
means.
no, no, no. Me neither. Me
I
neither.
still watch the show and I'll
Of
watch it
course.
when it comes out, but I'm just like I'm ready for them to move on to all right. Just give me a full season of important stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they've shown us what it can be. That's the problem. Like, I
Yep.
don't know that I felt it as acutely as I did, did this time because I'm like, oh, I know what this show can be, and it can
Yeah.
be
And
tour de
again,
force.
this is classic Filoni. The first couple seasons of the Clone Wars, a lot of this kind of shit in it. Like, ugh, just get on to the get to the meat of it. And by the end of Clone Wars, you're like hanging on every single episode.
That's true.
Same
That's
thing with
true.
Rebels. I would
Yeah.
argue the first
Yes.
season of Rebels, you're just kind of
Not
like,
great.
there's
Not
a
great.
lot of kiddie stuff in this. And
It's
by the
true.
end of it, you're like, I'm hanging on every single episode.
Yeah.
So this is just what Filoni does. He just these shows just kind of like they have some bangers and they're kind of mediocre, and
Yeah.
then season 3, season 4, it's all the meat, and you're like, okay, it just takes
Right.
a while to get there
That's
because
fair. I
he
think,
builds the
yeah.
characters. That's what he's doing. He's just trying to build the characters as much as possible.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think that makes sense. I'm like thinking back to like early Clone Wars, like when the Gungans like almost took down Grievous. Like,
Yeah,
they're
there's some
like,
early Clone Wars. You're
"Woo,
like,
woo,
George,
ee,
you had some
ooh."
strange stories there, George. I don't know if I buy that one entirely.
But
But
yeah, I'm still very invested in the Bad Batch. I'm invested in all of the characters. And I think we will as we get to the end of the season. I think what is there 16 episodes? Like
yep,
by the time we get to the 15, 14, 15, 16, I'm guessing this thing's going to be lit. So,
yeah.
yeah, I'm not
I
going
just
anywhere.
I just don't know where they're going.
Yeah.
That's my main problem. Like I don't know where they're going. But we'll find out.
Yeah, I
We'll
mean, to
check
be
out.
fair, I wasn't expecting them to blow up Camino. So,
Yeah, that's true. And when is Crosshair coming back? Gee,
I don't
I mean,
know.
I am stunned that we have not seen Crosshair since when was that? Like episode
3.
three?
It was 3.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've gone six
Yeah,
weeks with no Crosshair.
no Crosshair.
He's arguably my favorite character in this entire show, and
I
I'm
know.
6 weeks of no Crosshair, and I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
but
Well,
okay,
we'll see. We'll
yeah,
do a 2 for next time. Maybe he'll show up. We got a
maybe
50-50 shot.
next episode's called Metamorphosis, and I'm just looking at the one question synopsis here. The
Okay.
batch happens upon a mysterious vessel that had gone missing and discovered its strange
Oh,
contents. Is
no.
treasure? Is it
Tre-
treasure?
It's monsters and treasure.
Oh, maybe they find the Event Horizon, and maybe we'll get a really
Eh,
interesting episode.
That is going to be some upsetting fan art. If we had fans, that would be some very upsetting fan art.
Where we're going, we don't need eyes to see.
Oh my
Omega.
god. Someone told me the other day that movie is bad and that I remember it incorrectly. That movie was great, right?
That person is someone who should not be trusted with any sort of opinion going
Thank
forward.
you.
That's what
Okay, I
that
feel
should be.
validated. Thank you. Because I was
Event
like,
Horizon's great. Now, if you argue, hey, some of the CG in that did not age
sure,
properly,
fair,
100%,
of
100%.
course.
But that movie's great.
It was the
That movie's
90s.
great.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Fantastic.
Thank you. I feel validated because they were like, and then other people were like, "Yeah, it's not good. It doesn't hold up." And I was like,
Who are these people?
I
Who are
mean,
you associating yourself
I'm
out
not
there?
gonna name names. Not in a
Jeez.
situation like this. It would
They
destroy their
should be
reputation.
named. They should be named. They should be publicly outed.
Yes, I didn't go back and rewatch it because I have these like good memories of it, and I didn't want it to be like disappointing. But maybe
No,
it sounds
it's
like
great.
maybe I'm good.
It's great.
All right,
So
good.
if only all the lost footage hadn't been destroyed in that salt mine in Transylvania or whatever. But
What?
oh, you never heard about that?
Salt
So
mine in trans? What in the
yeah, so
what?
basically, the director was like, hey, I think it was Paul W.S. Anderson. I think that's who directed it. Same guy who did like the Resident Evil
Okay.
movie, a lot of those. Um, he had shot like the sequence when like the horrible like nasty hell orgy and the quick flashes of and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They had actually hired real porn actors for that, and they had
Whoa.
filmed like 3 days of the most brutal, crazy, fucked up shit you could possibly imagine. Well, obviously the studio was like, we cannot release this. You got to chop it way down. That's why there's just flashes of it in there,
Oh.
but there were all kinds of extended scenes. I think the movie was originally like close to 3 hours long before the
Ooh.
studio chopped it way down. And so they're like, well, now it's a cult classic. Now so many people love Event Horizon. It's like their 20th or 25th anniversary or whatever it was. Hey, let's put out a Blu-ray with the director's cut with everything that you wanted in there. They had stored the negative in the salt mine somewhere in Europe. It's like a Transylvania type country. I don't know if that was the exact country, Bulgaria or something over there. And they went to the salt mine, and all of the negatives had been completely like chewed up and eaten by bugs and destroyed. So all
No.
of that footage that they had was gone. So no director's
No.
cut of Event Horizon can ever be released.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to see the Sodom cut. That sucks.
The way it's described, it's like you think a
Yeah.
Serbian film's disturbing. Like some, because it was like when you got real porn actors, like, oh yeah, they were having real sex and everything. Like it was like
What?
the most fucked up, crazy shit possible. And they had the second unit director say, just film the most batshit crazy things you could possibly film with these porn actors for like 3 days. and it's all like allegedly nightmare fuel.
Oh my
And you
god.
see such a brief glimpse of it in the film itself. It's just quick
Oh,
flashes, but
I feel so bad for the porn actors that like did it.
oh,
And
they
then
probably loved it. They're
I
probably
know,
having a
but
great
I
time.
mean, like, and then like it got destroyed. It like
Yeah,
everything they went through, the makeup, everything like that, never really made it to screen. That was been such a bummer.
yeah.
Oh, oh well, life's not
So,
fair. Don't
so,
work in
so
a mine for a freaking
yeah,
capitalist
yeah.
monster.
So much like Event Horizon, we're gonna metamorphose ourselves next week with Metamorphosis on the Bad Batch, episode
Yeah,
11. We'll
yeah.
see you then, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Go watch Event Horizon.
I'm going to. I'm going to.